grab the opportunity while you can, because you might not be able to see Richard again.
Like I'm the God.
Oh, Richard. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we'll go through. So yeah, you know, I want people to feel okay. I know it's traumatic for all of us when we go through a situation and the job prospect changes and so forth. But you know, and hopefully, I don't know. Some people. I remember. I think it was a couple people here who mentioned that. Well, in my next job, I want it to be with a very stable company. Maybe the government, someone mentioned, because it'll, you know, they'll never have to look for another job. But statistically, every 3 to 5 years or so, people look for new jobs. And it's not, you know, hopefully you will find the next job that is going to be the best job with the best company, and you're never going to want to leave again, and it's going to be great and everything. But, and hopefully some of you will, but statistically speaking, most people, this is what happens, and that's okay. So, again, you learn these job search skills, you world-class resume, you know how to answer the interview questions for the most part. Then, you know how to look for a job search. So, for the rest of your life, if you have these skills, anyway, you already heard me say that, but really believe it. You know, really feel the power that you're going to have, and really take this as what you will do. We're going to help you certainly, but the more you know how to do this, the more you're never going to be afraid about looking for a job the rest of your life, and you'll be able to find a job no matter how the economy does. Okay, so and also I just mentioned again that I hope it's natural sometimes to be a bit disappointed with, your company that you work for, and so very natural to do, and nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. I just think with these guys, try to give them a break, because they, it is not usual for companies to, set up sessions like this with us to help people and so forth. And as far as companies go here, I would say these would certainly be one of the better employers. And someday maybe they'll call you again, and just give them a listen. Maybe you want to come back. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, and actually you do have jobs. So from this point, or from the middle of January onward, or whatever it is, your full-time job is looking for a job. And the way I tell people to do is, if you resolve to spend half your day looking for a job, and you do good work, and we'll show you the ways to do it, the submissions you got to do, and so forth. If you can do that, then you spend the rest of the day with your families and special friends. I don't know if you have children or a mother who's getting old. I mean, we're all busy in our life, and we don't have enough time. All of us complain about that. But take this as a special opportunity. I remember years ago, when my children were young, I was in between jobs, and it was an anxious time and all of that, certainly, but it was such a special, wonderful thing to spend time with your young children, even though you've been anxious about finding a job. But so take that opportunity and look upon it as an opportunity in your life, because it might be another 3 to 5 years or whatever it is until you have this opportunity to take a break from your work. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's not all anxiety and all this kind of stuff. There'll be a while before you have this opportunity again, and spend really quality time with the people you care about. So, Philippines, this I mentioned before, but when I speak to people in other countries, and it's very difficult finding jobs in many parts of the world today. And I know even when I received the call originally from our First Advantage friends here, we received a call through their U.S. Organization, and they have a company there that provides a similar service for their people in the United States. And so when we were talking to them, and high quality organization, very nice people, and then so their service is a very basic service. They teach, how to do the resume, interview skills, and then a couple of other side things. And then you're kind of on your own. They were quite surprised when we felt that we would spend a lot of time on the job search, because in the U.S. still, even there, it's very hard to find a job, and they didn't want to be a part of that thing because they were worried about giving expectations that they couldn't deliver and things like that. In Philippines, in one of the world's fastest growing economies, this is, if you want to pick any country in the world to be unemployed and looking for a job, I would say pick this one, or there's a few others like it, but I'm trying to make you feel good and positive and so forth too. But these are backed up with facts, right? The investment grade status, fastest growing economy, the World Bank says it's great, and so on, right? It's a good story right now. There's lots of opportunities and so forth. So, okay, so let's go through the job search and how to do this. This section will be a bit shorter than the other ones, but the outcome of it will be the most amount of work for you. Okay, so let's. Okay, so first question is, out of all those, submitting online resumes, JobStreet, referrals from friends, what do you think is the best of all these to find a job? Which one should you focus on? What do you think? Kat, what do you think is the? Smart girl. How do you? Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. This group is smarter than the last group.
Oh yeah, you're in trouble.
Because you're right. The answer is all of them. There's not just one way to find a job. There is, what other ways are there to find a job, right? And I know some people, felt they'll say to me, "Oh well, referrals from my friends has always worked for me. That's the way to do it. JobStreet has always worked for me. This is the way I've done." Another gal got her job with the career fairs, so forth. And those are all correct answers, but the best answer is all of them. And please, don't ever let someone tell you, "Oh well, you don't have to worry about it. I'm your friend. I'm going to get you into this company. You don't have to do anything else. Just keep doing it." So, yeah, we'll go through each of these, and we'll do this. So you want to do all of these, and it's really a mathematical process. So, and the greater the number of submissions you make, the greater the number of responses you get, and the greater number of hopefully job offers you get, right? No surprise. It's like rolling a dice at Resorts World. Only in this case, unlike Resorts World where the house always wins, in this case you win because as long as you it doesn't cost you to keep rolling the dice. And as long as you keep rolling it and you try to make your odds better, you can rig the game a bit to your favor, because you can make a world-class resume, do your interview skills, and you can use these techniques here to make your response rates better and so forth. Okay? So the first one that's obvious is submitting directly to employers. Now, yeah, so how do you do that? So let's go through kind of the best to start from your industry. Business process outsourcing is a key industry, and one that I would recommend as one that you focus on. So I know some other people might want to leave the industry, and there was a fellow from the last group who wanted to get back into the hospitality industry. We can talk a bit about that, but business process outsourcing has been the majority of employment growth in the country. People can tell, everybody knows this as a fact. Business process outsourcing, okay. Yeah. So in Philippines, I don't know if you've heard of BPAP, the Business Process Association of Philippines. Yes, this is the main industry association, and most of the country's business process outsourcing employers are members of this organization. So what they publish every year is a directory. So they have about 200 and some members, and If you can you show them on the website?
Can I go click?
Yeah, go on the website. So if we go, can you call it up there? So if you go to publications there, this is on the BPAP website. You see it up there. Sorry. Okay, go down to research. Down to research. Research, I said. Do what I say. Okay, research. And then down here to their publications. Kind of a slow thing there. Now, if you go down a little bit, that's the publication right there. And we'll show it to you what it looks like. Okay, yeah, you just download it right there. It's a PDF document. It's a large file. It'll take you a while to download, but this is what you do. Now, can you bounce over to here? This is what it looks like here. Okay, can you go down carefully to show people some of the what some of the listings look like? Go down maybe a third of the way. Down to about there, say. Okay, okay. Let's take a look at that one. Okay, so this is a one everyone knows, Teleperformance. So now this is one of the bigger ones, but there's a lot of smaller ones, and especially these ones that you know the captive. There's organizations known as captive providers and BPOs. Do you guys ever heard of that terminology? Yeah? Okay, so a company like Teleperformance, their clients are all external to their organization. So they would provide call center and other back office services to companies like Allstate and big international companies and so forth. Other companies like, say, Caltex or Shell or Bosch or many others of their only clients are internal to their organizations, so the only services they provide are to other Caltex or Shell organizations in different countries, okay? And they're very different. So, yes, this is another. So, okay, if we stop right there, this is TELUS International. You may have heard of it. They're a Canadian telco organization that has maybe 10,000 or so people here. Now, in all of these listings, you know, oh shoot, can you go back up a bit? Okay. You see that they have an email address for applicants. Now, in almost all of these listings, they do that. As well, they have, can you just go up a little bit? A brief, other way. Go.
Oh, sorry, Richard.
Okay, so they have,
Sorry,
just use the finger. No. Use this. Come on, you gotta do this. Use this. Okay, well, let's go to Sutherland then. Just this, see this? Do that, just that. Okay. So Sutherland, the same thing. So they have an email for applicants and a brief description of what they do. Now, but go down to some of the other smaller ones. Maybe bring this down to about here or so. Okay, then use your finger. Okay, do we see some names? Okay, so ACS here. This is a Xerox company. Same thing. For applicants, they do that. Now, this company provides a lot of back office work. Go down a little bit. Finance and accounting, and a lot of general outsourcing work, accounts payable, and so forth. Go down to the next one. ADEC Group. Stop. Okay. So they have maybe 5,000 or so people, and they're just a few blocks away from here. I don't know if you know the Toyota dealership up on the Zapote Road. Oh yeah, maybe some of you worked there in the past. They're not, I don't know if they're the greatest payer, but they're certainly a good group and a nice family environment. Again, you see the email address. Go down to the next one. and they do back office work. BMC, now this is another good group. Yeah, doing legal, medical, and back office work. Keep going down to the other one. So, you know, some of these companies are companies that you wouldn't know otherwise. Let's get a few more names. LC3, we've heard of that one. Go down further. E4I, that's another smaller one. Get someone we don't know. EXL Service, go down. These are more somewhat health group. First Source Solutions, another one.
The Alabang, no, this is Alabang.
Yeah.
O cliente nyo, Flat Planet.
We'll plan another one. A lot of mid-sized companies. Go down to some other ones that we know. Infinite Outsourcing, that's a joint venture with a local group and an international group. They're doing quality work and mainly back office work as well. Okay? What's that?
Mainly back office.
Mainly back office, absolutely. Medicall, that was just acquired by Cognizant, but they did medical related a lot of voice work, but a lot of back office work as well. Microsourcing, this is a company run by a couple of Dutch Filipino guys, and don't go too fast. Go back up, you know, a good little company. I mean, maybe a couple thousand, yeah, a couple thousand employees, and one that, you know, that they do both back office and voice work, and one that these are mid-sized companies that don't, you know, maybe have the same level of income or whatever size to be able to have the big billboards, but they often have good work that you can do. So sometimes big organizations are better, sometimes smaller ones are better, but you go through. So the first step with these, I would say, is send your resume to this email address on the ones of these. You go through and you read the information, you think, okay, this is something that might be of interest, let me send it in. Now what happens, do you know what happens when you do that as a first step? Where's the resume go? What's that? Yeah, goes to the recruiting department and it goes in a database, right? So that whenever one of the recruiters is looking for someone like you, they'll punch in some keywords and hopefully your resume comes up, right? Then they give you a call and so forth. Now, so that's a good first step to make sure that it's in the database of, you know, maybe not all 210 of these companies will be appropriate for you, but there's a good chance 100 or 150 of them will, right? So right there, now that's a bit of work. That's a day or so of work right there, just as that first step. Now a second step is go back to the companies, the same organizations, and get on each one of their websites. And then look at the job postings. Okay? Now each one of them, in some of the big organizations, of course, the Teleperformance and Convergence, they'll have, you know, often maybe not hundreds, but certainly dozens of postings that could be of interest to you. So you don't want to, I mean, applying to every single one of those, maybe not, but applying to 3, 4, or 5 of those is okay. And oftentimes, especially in the big organizations, it is a good idea to send your resume to different job postings, even though it's the same organization. Don't assume that just because you send it to one job posting that everybody in the organization is going to know about you, you know? Because one recruiter, because, you know, big organization, this recruiter here doesn't know what this one over here is doing, and this hiring manager might only have access to this and so forth, right? So if you send it in a few different places and times, you have a much greater chance. And again, just increasing your odds of getting it to the right person at the right time. Okay? But so that is a bit of work there. This step 2 is going to each one of these websites. Go down to another one. And getting online. Now, in some of the smaller companies like that one, or, you know, a First Advantage size of company, there might only be 1 or 2 resumes. Go to the next one. But Pettigrew, that's another one. I can't remember what they do.
This is in Madrigal. No.
Yeah. There's quite a few just in this Alabang area, especially in Madrigal. A lot of small, good quality little companies doing good quality back office work. Yeah, go down next. Point West, this is another,
This is a good company.
that's an IT-focused organization. Quality Local Group, Bang Cornell, sorry. Yeah, next one. So there's a lot of these, a lot of good. This one I'm not as familiar with. Go to the next one. That one, yeah, I don't know. Go on this one. Yep. So there's many. And each one is a bit different. So you get online, you look at the website, and keep applying. Now, what do you think? Do you apply just once to these organizations, you know, or do you think it's okay to go back day after day or week after week? What do you think about that? I've said, you know, you apply to more than one job posting. Do we apply it at more than one time, or we just do it once? What do you think, Kim?
After 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. But even a bit shorter sometimes than that, because sometimes, especially at the bigger organizations, the person accepting resumes for one job posting one day might be different, you know, next week or the week after. You know, they're shifted around, or someone goes on holiday, or they're not in that day, or whatever. Because you never underestimate these. Many of these organizations, especially in Philippines, have become so large that, you know, their whole, you know, one group over here is a large organization, you know, a 2,000 person organization, and if they have 20,000 people overall, they'll have 10 of these very separate groups. Okay, so right there, if you guys do that, you guys get online, download this, and spend time. This is a couple days at least of work, maybe almost a week of work, just getting online and sending out those submissions. If there's 210 members, of which maybe say 100 only are of interest to you, and if there's 3 or 4 or 2 to 4 jobs each one that you submit to, that's, you know, 200 to 400 submissions that you're making right there. So if you have a really high quality resume and you know, you've hit the right job postings, you might get, you know, you should get a 5 or 10% response rate, right? So that means you might get 10, 20 or so different calls from these organizations, because you guys look good. You guys have good experience. First Advantage, I know many of you have other advantages, other experience as well. So just there, that should be a very good start. Okay, so just if you have questions, let me know where it is, but it's on the BPAP website, and that's a good place to start.
Do you know what Richard explained about this, where you will link? How can you find the company name? By going to the BPAP website, then all the members. Through the members, then you can keep sending your resumes to all. Just find out which company you would like. Okay? Is that clear? Yeah, okay. That's why your resume is very important.
Okay, can you go back to the presentation? Okay, so that's the start. So I put some, yeah, and there's a lot of different companies. I don't know, I put up a couple there, ADEC Group and Robert Bosch. But I should emphasize that there's a lot of little shared services providers who, again, are captive providers who they don't advertise themselves just because they don't need to. But they're often nice organizations to work for. They're not, you know, it just depends. They're not often quite as large as the big BPO operations. But also their intensity of their work is maybe not quite so much often. You know, in the industry, people talk about, you know, the intensity of the workplace as kind of a scale. And I don't know, Rebecca's going to get mad at me for stating company names, but often companies like, you know, the companies that are most intense, sometimes they mention, you know, names like Dell or Sutherland, who are very good developers of people. You know, and if you've worked for Dell, for instance, this is a high quality, you know, learning experience. And if you've spent 2 or 3 years there solid, it seems you can go anywhere because their standards are so high. But it's also a very demanding workplace, right? So some say that you don't want to spend your whole life there, but it's a heck of a good place to work to learn the industry. But don't tell anybody I told you that. At the other extreme, here we'll make fun of, say, a couple that I hear a lot of comments about is Caltex and Shell. They have captive operations where, again, their only clients are internal to their organization, other Shell units in Europe or North America and so forth, right? So, for instance, Shell, or yes, both Shell and Caltex, I think they're both in the RCBC Plaza building, if I recall. Caltex must have, they have both back office accounting and HR and some other areas and call center work as well, as I recall. Maybe not 2,000 people, but maybe close to it, if I remember. But I'm not saying that these people are lazy or anything, but you know, most would say that on the scale of intensity, these would be more on this side, the less intense side, as opposed to these ones. And it does seem that the captive operations, because of the nature of their business, the captive operations are often on this side of the scale, whereas the BPOs who have to, like Teleperformance, Sitel, Convergys, all these companies, these seem to be, because of the nature of their business, these seem to be clustered more on this side of the business. Okay, so just a bit of background. So when you go through the list, I'll keep these things in mind, but the key thing about this is a lot of these smaller companies, the captive operations, they don't advertise themselves as much. And the only way to find them is to do your research. Okay? Okay. Let's go on. Now, some people, I'll just mention this briefly, because there might be some people that want to go outside the industry. Maybe not now, but maybe in the future. And every industry has what they call an industry association. So, for instance, you know, CP, the electronics organization, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a high-quality, very well-run industry association, just like BPAP, that also lists its members and so forth. So this is the CP website, and down here are their members. Now, in this case, they're not maybe as well organized as BPAP, that you have to go into each company. You know, here's Cypress, Cypress, I call it semiconductor, good quality organization, that you'd have to check out the website on your own, get there, look at their job postings, and go for it. Okay? Whereas the hotel and restaurant industry, similar situation. They've got all the hotels listed that are their members. You go to their websites and apply for jobs. So this is the research part of looking for a job. But you see, if you want to, whatever industry you want to focus on, and the BPO industry, of course, is, as far as employment growth and opportunities, it is certainly the best. But whatever industry you want to choose, there's an industry associated, and it's a good place to start, because you'll have dozens or often even hundreds of companies to be able to target. Okay? Okay. Let me go back here. Oops. Okay. Okay, so that's step one. Okay, social media. So this is, I don't know, how many of you have looked at LinkedIn or have a LinkedIn profile? Yeah, okay, Kat does.
Yeah?
Yeah, a couple of other people? Okay.
Not yet? Yeah.
This is becoming more and more important. Okay, so this is a good idea for you to do. LinkedIn, it's called. It's like a business version or professional version of Facebook, where Facebook is more, you know, social. You show your pictures to each other and so forth. LinkedIn is more professional. So let's look at what it looks like. I can show you Rebecca's profile I've got up here. Where is she? Okay. So this is Rebecca. And so down here, It's organized really just like a resume. She's got a summary of her experience and so forth. Down here is her experience, her current job, or current jobs actually, what she did previously, and her skills. Okay, so it's really set up just like a resume. And I'll go through on the job side. Here, I'll show you even my profile. And you just get on, it's free. You get online, sign up, just like you do Facebook, and sign up. So you do your little summary. Mine's a bit too long. I broke my own rule there. Your experience, your current roles. This is our current role. And your past roles. I work with a company called ThinkPath in Toronto, and before that another company, and your skills. All right. Now, how do you find a job on this thing? See, this says jobs. Let's click that. And more companies are using this. There are so many. So the first thing is they list the jobs that are in my network, or the companies, I should say, with jobs. But you can do your search yourself. So if you type in, oops. Type in a search. So I'll just put something simpler, customer service, say. Now, so a lot of there's a JP Morgan job, another JP Morgan's, IBM, Teletech, on and on. Chase, more JP Morgan, ANZ Bank. They're doing a lot of work here. They have a lot of job postings listed. Teletech, Standard Chartered.
So
Can you see that?
available?
So many.
Huh?
Did you see the? Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, so many.
So you can send your resumes there.
And I remember looking at ANZ Bank, for instance. What did we with the last group? And they had a lot of very different postings, because it might happen that you want to be in the BPO industry, but there's a lot of different areas. Where's their job postings here? Oops. Okay, well, that's that job posting. The other details. Okay, well, we'll go. I don't want to kill you with time here, but but you can spend days on this looking for a job. Okay, and the good thing about this one is not only it's two-way. So not only are you looking for a job, or organizations looking for a, but they're looking for you as long as you have your profile on it and you've clicked the box that to say that you're actively seeking new employment. Okay? So if you get that profile up and someone here says, well, the word will get around that there's some people from First Advantage who have good experience who might be looking, they'll pull you up. Okay? So right there. So with the BPAP thing, listing, and this, in between there is, what, maybe 300 or 400 job postings just from these two sources. Now that's about a week's work, submitting, doing your profile, redoing it, taking a look. A lot of it you'll just be able to cut and paste from your world-class resume that you've already created. But you know where I'm coming from? But this will become more and more important as years comes. And already now you can see how many job postings there are and so forth. Okay?
Is it clear what Richard's explaining about the LinkedIn? LinkedIn is really for the business. It's like basically a resume. Just put it there. Of course, there's some limited. Don't put your personal information for your protection. Just basically your experiences. Then you connect with your contacts. Then your contacts has friends. Then your friends has friends. So you can really connect with so many people and so many potentials that you can get. For instance, if you invite me, if you sign in, you invite me, I have about, I think, close to 4,000 contacts. Same thing with Richard. I don't know how many Richard has contacts. So you keep inviting. And you can get a lot of opportunity for you to search. What kind of job would you like? Okay? I'm sure you're very familiar also how to do the search through LinkedIn. Do you use that? Have you done that? Just type the position to the search, advanced search, then type the position, okay, and then of course Philippines, and just put search and so many things will come out. This is alone is a customer service position. Look how many came out.
So I don't know why maybe when I did this, but ANZ Bank, for instance, just their own postings, HR service consultant, recruitment consultant, credit operations, so on and so on. So I don't know your career aspirations and so forth, but sometimes people do have, they want to apply for the standard jobs that make the most sense. But sometimes you'll see jobs like these. Maybe you have an interest in getting into recruitment or HR or credit operations or something like that. You'll find these kinds of things listed as well. Okay, so you can try these out and see how it goes. Okay? With me?
Yes. Any question? Just
Everybody's
ask questions. This is your
looks
chance,
like they're
guys.
deep in
Put
thought.
Questions to Richard. Don't be shy. Please take the opportunity. Yeah.
Because again, it's like in sales they call it a funnel, right? So you want to put as many into the funnel up here, and then as it goes through the interviews and then the second interviews and then down to the job offers on the top. But as long as you put as many in the funnel, they call it, the sales funnel, at the top, the more that's going to come out the bottom. So this is what we're trying to do. We want to have hundreds of submissions that you have made to result in the 3 or 4 or 5 good quality job offers that you can then choose from at the end. If you only submit 50 times, you might only get one good job offer. You don't, in my view, you want to have more than that. Okay, and this is how we do that. Okay. Okay, next. So the online job boards. This one is everyone, I'm sure most of you have taken a look at these and so forth. And again, it's not a matter of what's best. It's a matter of what else can we submit to. So JobStreet is a high quality one. I think it's very, very good. It has a lot of listings on it. But there's many mid-sized companies that choose one or the other, JobsDB or JobStreet. And if you only look at JobStreet, you'll miss some of the other companies that may not be on JobStreet. You know what I mean? So take a look. So they're easy. We can send you the listing, but it's easy to just on Google type in job postings or job boards Philippines, and they'll come up one after the other.
Have you tried that already?
This Monster.com. This is a large international job posting job board organization. They're quite aggressive these days in Philippines. These other ones, Best Jobs is a free one. Career Guide. Anything that helps your thing. Well, let's go through. This is from JobStreet. The numbers of job postings that I just cut and pasted this a couple of days ago. But if you see the numbers of job postings in each job category, right? Now, just looking at that, I'm not going to tell you guys how to run your career at all, but from a mathematical or odds perspective, customer service jobs, about 7,000 or so, it's almost as much as all of the other ones combined. And so, again, I'm not telling you, that's going to go, but maybe as a plan B or a plan C, in case these other jobs don't come through, in my understanding, all people have financial obligations and so forth. You may have a family you're providing for and so forth. And so just to make sure that you're going to have options, when you roll in the dice in a category like that, you've got a better chance of it coming out with a job offer, right? And I'll give you one more little speech, but I know I'm a bit disappointed that some people, people have a bit, some people anyway, have a bit of maybe a bit negative view of call center jobs, but I can tell you they pay well, and there's a lot of opportunities in there, and especially, you have solid back office experience now, and getting voice experience really puts you, ahead of of many people. So again, I'm not telling you, but I know one other story, short story. But we had a gal talk about income opportunities. But we had a role a couple of months ago, and we talked with some very successful people, many in their late 20s or early 30s. But I remember this one gal in her early 30s, very very plainly dressed. Nice gal, dynamic, and I knew she was fairly senior. When we went through her income, she was earning 615,000 pesos a month. And I just never, in very few countries.
Want to make that per month.
In very few countries would you find someone in their early 30s earning that kind of an income.
Yeah.
Philippines or anywhere. Okay, and so it's a very special industry. And again, I'm not telling you, but I'm just saying, keep an open mind. There's lots of opportunities here, and these are good opportunities. And Filipinos have established themselves as, preeminent in the world in, voice type of services, right? So, be proud of these things. This is.
Can I share something, Richard?
Sure.
We met so many Filipinas, and I'm so proud to tell you guys that they are making a lot of money. Why? What's the difference? No, it's here. They've never been abroad, but they are here.
Not that money's the only thing, but it's one.
They learn. They really learn. They're so willing to keep learning in their department, keep learning, multitasking, and they enjoy what they're doing. It's not going to work. You go home. Remember, sometimes you work from 9 to 5. You come at 9. You leave at 5. But these people spend time. They come early. They go home late because they want to make a difference for their organization, not because of what they're making. Then the company saw them. Oh, this person's potential. So keep upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. Some people, as what Richard said, you'll be shocked. Early 20s making 200,000, 300,000. Would you like that?
Well, middle 20s maybe, but still,
right? But
opportunities.
What we're saying is the potential is unlimited here in the Philippines. The opportunity, that's why there's so many foreigners coming in. They don't like to leave. Once they finish their contract, they still want to stay in the Philippines. The potential is here. Jobs coming in here, coming here. So, the potential is with you, but it's up to you what you're going to do. Where do you want to go? What you want to add? Does that make sense? Because we know so many. We know so many.
So just keep an open mind is what we're
open mind.
saying,
Yeah, be aggressive. Be aggressive. I know, I'm so...
Yeah, because you never know, Yeah. But you guys have good options. You guys have good experience. So there's opportunities for you when you go through these. But right there, just in these, the ones that I cut and pasted, there's a lot of, you could spend a week almost a week, just on JobStreet alone, submitting, following up, submitting, and so forth. Okay? So right there, so those three things. The company's direct email, website addresses through the BPAP list, LinkedIn, another, right there, that's a week and a half or something, and then these ones as well, you've got another week of work there, okay? And if you can submit, I don't know, pick a number, 400, 500 submissions to, credible job postings that you think you'd be interested in, you're going to have a good shot of having the right number of opportunities that come out at the bottom. Okay? All right. Okay, well, you guys have seen this. I don't know, when you type in something, I think I looked at help desk jobs, and quite a number came out, and you click them and submit them. You guys know about this. I don't have to show you this. That's nothing. You guys can figure that out. Okay. Next one. Referrals from friends. Most companies have referral bonus programs. You guys all know about these, right? These are some of this is Teleperformance, and they promote it, and there's a little, not a little, actually, it's quite a well-paid bonus you provide when you bring a friend in and they stay a minimum 6 months or something like that. And some people have said to me that, oh yes, Richard, that's a good idea, and I called my close friends in the industry, but Richard, I wouldn't feel comfortable calling people that I haven't spoke to for a few years, or people who I haven't spoke to since university, and because, you know, I'm just not close with them, and I don't think that's appropriate. Do you think that's the right thing to do or not? I mean, you guys know the answer, but what do you think? What about Francesca? You think, are you going to be too shy about that, or you think, because what happens if they might say, well, no, I don't remember you and I don't want to help you now? What do you think? What do you think they're going to say when you call? Are they going to be glad to hear from you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because it's an opportunity for them to look good to their boss, because they've brought someone within the organization who has experience from the industry, and they get a little bit of a bonus for them for this as well. So yeah, they're going to be very happy to hear from you. And yes, I'm so glad you called. I'd heard something about First Advantage, and I wondered whether you'd call me. Call them up. They're going to be anxious and eager to hear from you and help you in most cases. So this is a good way to do this, and a lot of companies, you know, hire a large number of their employees through this service. Now, why do you think companies, like, what are some advantages to an employer for hiring people through this kind of a program? I mean, they do have to pay for this. I mean, it's easier if they just hire them from online or something. But why do you think they do this so much, and why do you think employers like it? What advantage does it give them? Kat, what do you think?
Maybe it gives the employers a little bit of an easier way to see what kind of employee there would be, judging from how that employee works at the specific.
I see. So judging from the person who's already there, this other new person might be similar in some way. And okay, that's a good one. Can't see everybody's name. Anna, what do you think?
So for me, it's easier for the government to serve people because they already get their income from their own employees. So it's easy to check if the employee is qualified.
Absolutely. And the employee, your own employee who refers the person, is motivated to help that person stay. He's going to, that candidate has kind of self-selected a bit because they've talked to your employee about what the job environment is like, and whether they like their boss, and that they like their employees, and the programs that the company has, and so forth. So they already come in with a lot of background information about the company. And the rates of retention for people hired through a referral program are much, much higher, dramatically higher, maybe almost twice as, or 50 or 60% higher than if you just hire them, you know, without that contact. Okay? Because then the candidate is going in, he's got a friend who's helped him along the way and told him, this is, you know, the cafeteria, and make sure you look after this so the boss likes you, and he, you know, he tries to help you along. And the person is motivated for different reasons, because he's your friend, and because there is a financial reward, and he looks good to his boss if you stay within the company. So companies like these things. It's good for everybody. So make sure you call your friends and your batchmates and people you haven't even seen for a long time. Okay? All right. Okay. So we're here to help you too. Yes, we do this and we'll work together with you, but keep in mind that this is your job search, and the more you feel good, if you do that initial work so far even, you're going to have a very good shot of being able to have, you know, ideally 3 or 4 good job offers that then you can weigh the advantages and disadvantages and choose the best one. Okay, but how it works with us is, so your work, you're spending a lot of time on the job streets and JobsDB and LinkedIn and the company websites and submitting directly to them and so forth. So that's all very important work to do. I'm going to get in front of this poor guy's camera here, but now us, what we will do is to send information about you directly to senior decision makers. And so what happens is one way or another, it percolates up or down to the right people. Now, in some cases, you'll send your resume to someone over here who will know the right hiring manager, and that's the right person to get it to. In other cases, we'll send it to this person who will know this person, and that's the right person to get to. So one way or another, it gets to the right person, just increasing your odds, okay? So that's what we'll do. So usually we it seems to work out, but we really need you to do your work, because some of the things that we don't know is, you might have interest in certain particular jobs that are of interest to you that we wouldn't know about, and you do that work for yourself, and then anyway, your career is in your hands, and for the rest of your career. Okay, career fairs. How many have been to career fairs before?
Have you experienced that? Did you been there before?
You've been to, Kat has been? Anybody else? No, you haven't? Yeah? Really? Okay. Well, they're, some people don't like them, and they're crowded, noisy, often hot, and so forth, but I can tell you they're great places to learn how to interview and to see the different kinds of companies that are there and the kind of jobs that they have, and to really talk quickly and easily with people about these jobs. I don't know, did I tell you that why it's such a good idea to practice your interviewing at jobs, career fairs? Did I tell you that one? Well, because at a career fair, what will happen is you'll walk up to a booth. There'll be a whole bunch of booths. Often they'll put the postings of, we're hiring these positions and numbers of people and all this kind of stuff. And when you walk up to the booth, they'll ask you, hi, where are you currently? First Advantage, how long have you been there? Where were you before? What's your degree? What are you looking to do? These are kind of rapid fire questions, right? And the first few times you hear that, you'll be flustered because you won't know what to say, or you'll say it wrong. But after a while, after a third, fourth, or fifth time, they'll ask you the same questions. You'll start to be able to answer quickly in return. I'm currently at First Advantage. I've been there for the past 2 years. Now I'm looking for work. Previously I was with Convergys. Yes, my degree, I have a degree, a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. You know what I mean? So it's a good way to just get a feel for opportunities. And I know in the last group, there was one gal in particular and another one who her first job she received, or a couple of her jobs I think, was from career fairs. So it's a good way to get real people feedback quickly and effectively, whatever, because you're talking to real people, real hiring managers, and you don't have to worry because they're never going to remember you if you say something wrong. Okay? So try to do that, and there's lots of these. There's postings, on a regular basis, almost every other week. They're held in some part of the city that you can just go and attend for free. Okay? Okay, what about recruiters? Oh, I won't, the answer is there, so I won't let me tell you. But what about recruiters? What's the difference about recruiters? I mean, first of all, should you send your resume to recruiters? Headhunters. John Clements, what's the other ones? K-Search and so forth. Should you send it to them? Sure, why not, right?
Connections.
Yeah. Yeah, they may. That's a very good point you made. What's your name again, my dear? Apolea, that's right. So Apolea, correct. What she said is they may have jobs that might not be posted anywhere else. And so it's a good idea to send your resume to them. But there's one important difference with recruiters or headhunters than there is with other other methods of finding an employer. Do you know what that is?
The 10% of yours.
Correct. See, Apolea is smart. They get a percentage of your income or a fee if the employer hires you. Now, why might that be a problem?
There's more
Who's-
salary.
What's that?
Your salary increases.
Well, they'll usually keep you within the same range, but it does make it more expensive for the employer to hire you. So let's say they've got two, well, let's say yourself. Let's say you're buying a cell phone, and you can buy it directly from the Samsung store, or you can buy it through your friend who's kind of doing this on the side. Now, when you buy it directly from Samsung, you might pay 3,000 pesos, but when you buy it from your friend, you might pay 3,300. Because your friend naturally has to make a bit of a profit or something. Now, who are you going to buy from? Well, yeah, unless you got lots of money and you want to help your friend out or something like this. Often, you're going to say, well, I want to save a bit of money. I don't want to waste money. I can buy it directly from this. Why am I going to buy, and pay more price? Now, I can tell you that employers and recruiters, they're judged the same way. So if they have, let's say they've got two candidates, Francesca and Apolea. So they interview you one day. You came through a recruiter, a headhunter, and Apolea came directly herself. She had submitted the resume herself. And they say, oh, well, they're both very good candidates. But, what do you think? No. But we think we like the one that we don't have to pay the fee for because, overall her cost of what they call the cost of acquisition is less. And I can tell you, as a recruiter, an HR person in an organization, they're judged because if they are hiring a whole bunch of people just through headhunters, oh, John Clemens sent me, we should hire them, and so doing that. Well, then why are we hiring an HR recruiter? Her job, that person's job, is to try to hire people and not pay. If they're just paying fees, why have an HR recruiter? You see what I mean? So that person's assessment will go down if they do that. They need to hire, the bulk of their employees or candidates through direct sources so that they're not paying fees. You understand the difference? So I give you this story because in the past I've met people who thought that, well, Richard, I have very close relationships with headhunters, and I've sent it to 3 or 4 of the people that I've known for years, and my job search is in their hands, and I'm all set because they will ensure that my resume gets in front of the right employers. Now, that to me is not a good situation because their opportunities will be far less than if they did the work themselves for that simple reason right there. Okay, an employer given the choice, just like us, an employer given the choice will naturally choose not to pay a fee if they can, directly, because that's their job. Do you understand my thing? So definitely send your resume to recruiters, but after you've done your work. Okay? Because what happens, another secret, I guess I'll tell you of that business is if you send your resume first to the recruiters, what they will do is they'll look at you and they'll say, oh, Apolea, Anna, Kathleen, these are good candidates. I'm going to send them directly or send them into as many organizations as I can quickly, Teletech, Teleperformance, Sitel, whatever, so that they're in first. And then, when the resume is in there first, it's stamped electronically that it came from that. If I can explain this, it came from that headhunter. Okay. So if you send it afterward, it'll still count as if it came only from that headhunter, and you've got a fee attached. So in the recruiter's mind is, oh God, she's a really good candidate, but she's got the fee, and I'm going to look bad to my boss because all I'm doing is just sending in resumes that came from headhunters. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you following me? Yeah. So you'll reduce your your odds of getting hired, just for that simple reason. Because if there's two similar candidates, one with a fee and one without a fee, you know, they're naturally going to choose the one without the fee. Okay? That's the way the business works. So definitely send it to them, because like we agree, they may very well have opportunities that aren't known in the market, aren't known anywhere else, and aren't published, and they may have the right job for you. But do it after you've done your own work. Okay? And yeah, okay. Submit is making. Okay. So this one is a short session, but this is the shortest session, but I'm telling you, this will produce the largest amount of work. Okay? But it's good work. Because if you can submit to these 400 or 500, you know, what should be about 400 or 500 submissions for you, you should be able to, with your background, you should be able to come out with a solid number of job opportunities. So here's some mom and pop thing. You know, keep your Facebook clean. If your friends are posting jobs of drunken parties on the beach, this might not look good. And otherwise, just remember that your full-time job, until you get a job, is looking for a job. But hopefully you can do it in an enjoyable way, and with this process that we've given you, hopefully you could do solid work, half a day every day, and then take the rest of the day off. And we should be okay working together. We should work anyway. Okay. Anything to add?
Yeah. So basically, you have to send your resume as soon as you can.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important to us. Okay. Send to that email, because we're going to create where to send your profile to our contacts. Okay? It's very important. We have to work together here. We plan to send it either first week of January, the latest second week. So after how many days or a week, you will receive calls for sure from those companies that will be sending. Then it will be your job, how you present yourself. Okay? It's not ours. We can only help you, we can only guide you, but doing the job will be you guys. Okay? It makes sense? So we have to work together here. So every time that you receive calls for interview, let us know, communicate with us, send us either even just text or a short email. Rebecca, Richard, I received call from this company, I'm booked for an interview, so on and that. Okay? And then if you did not receive, okay, yeah, what's your question?
Is that going to be like what you explained, that if we send our resumes to these companies, it will be stamped with Cherry Associates?
No. Okay, very good question.
Yeah.
We will accept no fee because we are, you know, we've been hired by First Advantage. We will accept no fee if you guys hire. So, okay, I'm so glad you asked that question. I should have explained that to the last group. Yeah. No, we do not want to be in the middle of you finding employment. The only focus we have is helping you find a job, okay? So we are not in any way...
It's a free service.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So then we're putting you to the decision maker of the organization. So that's the plus in your part because of our contact. Okay? Right? So we have to communicate in regular basis. For example, after 2 weeks, let's say mid of January, you haven't received call. Rebecca, Richard, is there what company you sent or my profile? I would like to find out. I haven't received calls until now. Or maybe you received so many calls, we want to know too. Okay? Maybe your friends a little bit down, said, oh, so-and-so, can you talk to? So we have to communicate. It's a partnership, relationship. Okay? Right? Any more questions? Okay, go ahead.
Let's say you send our resume to that email address, right? Can we also give you like an idea of the location and the type of job that you wanted to land into? Can we also include that in the email?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to do, though. I think if I can say, because for two reasons. One, because we're going to have a lot of people, so it'll be hard to say, well, this one wants to work here and this one wants to work there. So, but and oftentimes you don't always know which ones have the what do you call them? have the opportunities in the areas that you want. So I would say let them call you up, let them describe where you're located and where you like to work, and then make that a two-way conversation. Yeah, okay. I think that, seems to work. We've done work.
When
Yeah.
they call you, so you already know what location, okay, or what company, and then from there you can be direct with them. Yeah.
Yeah, and try to keep an open mind. I know, this voice thing. This story I gave you. I don't know, things like that. You never really know until you go into an organization and you hear their story. And sometimes they have a great story that you don't expect them to have, right? But every time you go in, your interview skills get better and better. And it's off. Emphasize this because you do it 5 or 6 times, and by the end you'll be surprised how much you improve and how professional you sound.
And there's some candidates also that we met that they're not interested with the position or the company, but then they went anyway because they want to gain experiences and to learn more about their organization. And guess what? They end up working with that company because they learned so many things. They said, wow, I didn't realize that how good they are. I didn't realize the opportunity they're giving to their people. So it's better to go and check it out before you say no. That's our suggestion.
Absolutely. Yeah. My dear, question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so your resume is ready. So job interview ready. Job searching ready. Okay, right? Okay. No more questions, you guys? Anything else?
Yeah, if you guys in the next week before Christmas could get, finish off your resume, so it looks really good, and just get on and get your LinkedIn profile working on it.
Yeah.
Okay? Oftentimes, I found you have to go back to it, and you'll start something, and then, I don't, come back, and that's okay. But if you just get that all finished and ready, so that next month, you're really ready to go. You're really geared up. Yeah?
Right? So keep in touch with us. We have to keep in touch with one another. So make sure to send us your resume as soon as you can so that we can create our database.
Yes, and with your LinkedIn, the other thing is just send us a contact thing,
invite us.
and we'll hit accept, okay?
And we will accept you. Then you can see all our contacts.
Yeah, because we have so many. I think I have 5,000, you have...
5,000, I think 4,000.
Yeah.
So right there, you already have 9,000 contacts. Potential, not only in the Philippines, but international.
We also send our resumes to companies from other countries.
Sure you can. Sure you can. Each country has their own job street equivalents or Dubai jobs and these kinds of stuff.
Canada.
And if you have your resume ready to go, same with LinkedIn, the same thing.
Facebook.
You saw that. You just choose the country, and it'll come up with postings in that country, right?
Put the job search, Canada for instance, so many will come up.
Yeah, and especially, now, I'm sure I think what next year is when the ASEAN regional integration is underway. So Filipinos, highly regarded because you guys speak English and smile a lot, all these kinds of things. You guys are in demand and will be able to work much more easily throughout the region. And as each year passes, more and more.
Visa?
Yes, I've heard that.
You
Yeah.
can work anywhere in an ASEAN country.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And your LinkedIn profile is the best way for them to get contact with you.
Exciting.
Yeah, really.
I think
It's going to change so much, especially for Filipinos, because you guys are so mobile. You speak, international English, and you can go anywhere. So,
Can go
really.
anywhere. Exciting, huh? See, Singapore, you go to Singapore, they love Filipinos.
Malaysia,
Yeah,
Indonesia,
Singapore. Yeah, I worked there.
Filipinos built the banking industry in Indonesia, the insurance industry, and others.
Yeah, right. Salary is good. Mhm. Yeah. You're aiming for that? Oh, Japan. Thailand.
Thailand.
Yes. Why you like Thailand? Bangkok. Why you like Bangkok? Huh? Mickey, gusto mo doon?
Where?
Bangkok? Ang ganda doon, ha? Sarap ng pagkain.
Mura daw.
Yeah, mura. Isn't salary in Bangkok is good? But I think Filipino in terms of salary here is better. Huh? Than Thailand?
Well, and the opportunities, I would say more.
Amazing. Hindi ako nagbibiro. Hindi kami nagbibiro. Maybe wife.
Maybe.
Maybe wife, huh?
Something else.
Something else.
Extended version.
Is it something? May mga sekreto yata kayo, ah.
Something.
That's fun. Okay, you guys, sure, no more questions? Yeah? Okay, so we're close. And we're looking forward to, know you more.
Yeah, so remember, try to get online, get that BPAP directory. It's a good thing.
It's amazing.
All the information is there. That's a good start. Then your LinkedIn profile, JobStreet, JobsDB, all those other ones, referrals from friends. We'll do our work as well. Try to go to a couple of career fairs just to see what it's about. And then we should be able to, I don't know, we've got a good shot here. You guys do that work, and you guys will have a good shot.
When you get job, don't forget about that, okay? And please send us email that, I'm happily working so and so, okay?
Yeah, well, hopefully, but from this point forward in your life, you're not going to be afraid of looking for a job again, you know? You'll have the resume, so 3 or 4 years down the road, okay, got to get my resume out again, updated, add this job, and so forth. Oh, my interview questions, I got to refresh my memory on that. You know about where to look for a job, how to do it, and then you're just set in motion, right? And you're never going to be afraid of that in your life. That's what we hope.
Yeah. So when you work in a company, you make sure they're scared of you instead of you're scared of those things.
Well, you do.
No, it's true, because when you contribute something, you are part of the organization because you're happy, you're making a difference. And it's fun. Even though the company goes, you can easily go find somewhere else again. Easy.
Well,
No, it's
looking for a job is always work, though. Don't, but still, you'll have the, we've already said it. So.
ayun, di ba?
It's not easy. It's all work, but you know the process. As long as you know the process, and you put in the hours, and it's going to come.
Right? You guys? Right? Okay. All right. So good luck, huh? Advance Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And then January 1st will start. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah. Looking forward, huh?